How do societies crumble because of misery in time? Well, misery is something that one doesn't have to look at it like some kind of curse or some kind of godly judgment. See, misery is nothing else but a test one may look at. One may consider misery as a test of survival. When it comes to consciousness, each level of consciousness will have its own challenges and will have obviously its layers of ignorance. And when those layers of ignorance are broken, one will gain sufficient wisdom to simply become better and start trying to break the cycles they were already living in, because breaking those cycles doesn't mean much. Those cycles will tend to repeat because you have invested significant amount of energy into them. And obviously, you will have to simply um, keep becoming more and more conscious of your choices, of your actions, of your deeds, anything that you do, so that you prevent ignorance from triggering yet again. Because the moment one slips back into ignorance, that's when all the cycles of the old start slipping back in. They will slither in just like snakes. Yes, all your problems that you once had. Yes, that is why some people live and then they have a good life. It seems everything is fixed. Usually, after 10, 12 years or a lengthy period like that, they might suddenly plunge back into the chaos that once ruined their life. Whether it is prostitution, whether it is indulging into lust, whether it is indulging into any other self-destruction and self-destructive behavior, that can happen yet again. Yes, and these cycles, why are they called cycles if not because the fact that they simply repeat? Yes, a cycle is not necessarily broken. You do not break a cycle entirely. You just break from it when you simply choose to live consciously. They will still repeat within you, but your higher nature, your higher awareness will not allow your attention and your energy to flow towards that chaos yet again. Imagine it like a black hole. It is still there. It's just that it doesn't munch on anything. It is not that active anymore. So it's not ruining your life anymore. But you go through some traumatic experiences and suddenly you will feel that those cycles creep back in. Yes. And then you will experience some emotions, some states of being that you had once, and obviously you will think that you're gonna slip back into. And you're gonna invest energy into fear, which will amplify those cycles slowly and surely. Initially, unnoticeably, but slowly and surely they will catch more momentum. And at a certain moment, you're gonna be back into them. Yes? So, from a standpoint of consciousness, typically the steps will always be the same. Slight differences per individual, but the path will always be the same. In every level of development of a society, or let's call it of a civilization, there will be moments when they will advance into comfort so much that they will not be ready for. Yes? Because imagine us, humans. We're living deep in nature, in small villages that barely can handle from today to tomorrow. Yes? And these people, one needs almost the entire village to do a collective effort to raise someone else's child. Yes? And in such situations, people at least are connected to nature. Yes? There is always an awareness for predators and for the dangers that nature can possess, especially at night, and the food that everyone, well, let's say, brings from the earth and, well, gains from nature, let's put it so. They all know what that food is and the quality of it. One moment in time, these people will create suddenly a sprawling society. Yes, they will build bigger and bigger societies, or let's say villages at first, because the number will increase more or less. One needs to find agriculture. When the awareness grows sufficiently, the wisdom of it will come intuitively to some people. It will come or tend to come to everyone, but not everyone will be equally open. So some people will bring in advancements to society. Those are what you call the geniuses, the scientists, maybe some politicians. And these people will create advancements Yes, some civilizations may move towards greater bodies of water, greater rivers, greater flows of water. Yes, they will start creating agriculture. Some will fail, some will vanish because of crops and hunger and lack of resources. Some will proliferate, some will grow larger, and populations now suddenly become larger. Now suddenly more resources are needed. You need bigger walls, yes, and that's how fortresses are built. And there you have people who suddenly, at the level of a fortress, it's when people suddenly sink into a comfort that they were not ready ever. Because while they are now behind protective walls that will protect them from predators and any other such challenges, the problem is their brains are still attuned to nature. Yes, their brains live as if they are still in nature, surrounded by predators, by animals, night stalkers, and other such problems. Now that there are way more people, they will feel the competition is way worse for resources. Imagine what a hunger will do right now. Yes, while you are in nature, anyone can go and forage here and there some fruits and still find something to eat. But in a sprawling fortress, if a hunger strikes or a deadly disease strikes, imagine all the panic. Yes, subconsciously people are suffering from that as well because they are already attuned to the sufferings of nature. And these can only be advanced, yes, can be only be higher, greater, worse when it comes to a more sprawling society. Suddenly, men and women find themselves in, let's say, stone huts, and maybe they have way better heating in a way. Now they have better living conditions, but they are not yet ready for that. They are suddenly struck by a comfort that will simply plague them. It will be like a disease because their mind was constantly attuned to survival. Yes? Suddenly they are no longer animals, right? All the animals in the world live constantly in survival. Yes, that's why you see any animal you look at, they're always tense because they know at any corner, at any moment, at any given time, a predator might strike, a problem might survive. Their physicality might be endangered, yes, and they will always have their senses sharp and they will always be tense. Yes, but when you take such stray animals and you bring them into your house, you will see in time, it takes a long time, but in time you will see that they become somewhat less aware, somewhat, a bit less. You will see cats become a bit more resting. They will rest way more. You will see that their reflexes might be a bit out of tune. If you think about, let's say, 10 years pass and they live in that comfort, they no longer need to hunt. Yes, but, well, obviously their ancestral senses will still stay there. Yes, their predatory instincts are not going to dwindle. But when it comes to humans, their brain, which was highly attuned to nature and survival, now suddenly hits comfort. And that becomes a big problem. Yes, because they are not ready for so much comfort. Their mind craves chaos and survival. So they will start reimagining things. Reality becomes different for them. Yes, because now suddenly, where are all those predators? Yes, when you're still in fear of survival and suddenly are put into comfort, your chaotic mind will start seeing your peers as possible predators. So, in time, this will become more or less a dissociation from reality, where people slowly and surely will see everyone else as a possible competitor, as a possible problem, even predator. And that's why people will become suspicious in time. Suspicion is only the weapon of the fool, not a weapon, more like an effect of being illiterate, of being a fool, yes, of being ignorant also. Because suddenly your ignorance takes charge. You no longer see your peers as humans. They're no longer your helpers. Now you live in a society where slowly and surely you don't know what you put on your plate anymore because there will be the peasants who will take care of the food, and you, a citizen of the big fortress, will most likely no longer care what comes to your plate. Yes, it looks similar, but you don't know, you don't care anymore, and slowly and surely ignorance will claim each and every one. Yes, people will start being less and less caring. And since everyone starts being more or less an enemy, Yes, someone who competes against them for whatever they want to do, but they don't know what they want to do. And everything becomes a problem. Anything that will make them feel that they are targeted will trigger those ancestral fears. Yes? And in time, these people will become like a hive mind of misery. Yes? They will live constantly in those fears. They will fear everyone. They will tread carefully as if they are treading on mines. And they become less and less human. Yes? They will become more and more slaves of their own compulsions, of their own will for survival. And these people will become less and less human in the end. They will become more like zombies. They'll simply wander around. That's why you don't deal with these people in menacing ways. Yes, that's why you don't expose your aura and your strengths around them, because suddenly you will be looked at as some kind of predator, and you will most likely then notice so much otherworldly fear into those people, because suddenly you are different from them, you are more powerful than them. They will look at you like you're some kind of natural predator that has come to kill them. And suddenly, it's enough that one of them sounds the alarm. Yes, because imagine those people become so low in awareness, become so low in humanity, that they even start acting like animals. Yes, like animals in the forest. Yes. When you look at the billionaires, those Zionists, yes, how many videos have seen of them inflating their throat like they are some kind of iguanas? How many times have you seen them pointing their tongue out like snakes or like lizards or things like that? Because when you do certain practices for thousands of years, they will cost you your mind, they will cost you your awareness. Yes, humanity goes down that rabbit hole slowly and surely. Every 4,500 years, they are said to be cycles. Yes, each cycle is said to be 20, like 2000 years to 2500 years, and there are said to be two cycles of chaos, like 4000 ish, 4500 years, something like that. And then there will be two cycles in which awareness starts increasing. Yes, maybe you've heard of Kali Yuga, probably, or the most destructive of the cycles of consciousness. This is not something peculiar to us humans or to this solar system. Yes, these cycles are influencing us, but they happen at the solar level, at the galactic level as well. Yes, but these also happen at an individual level as well, because you have your own time as well. Some people might still be in their Kali Yuga, in their most self-destructive of cycles. Some people might be in their most elevated of cycles, and these cycles again go on and on and on again. Yes, and these will have, let's say, a global influence. Yes, the planet now is swapping from the most self-destructive of cycles, the greatest peaks of ignorance, towards slowly and surely regaining of consciousness and awareness. Yes, that is why all these problems happening in the world. So when we think even further from this, life will evolve, life will change, but not everyone will feel like it. So, still in that level of misery, people will become less and less. They will dwindle more and more. They will give up their awareness more and more because they crave that level when they were just survival based. Yes? Suddenly they have so much spare time, they don't have anything to worry. So they have to invent things to worry. And the more they dive into this, with each and every new generation, they become more in tune with this. They become more obsessed with this way of being, where they just worry about anything, and there's less and less responsibility to be taken. Yes, each and every new generation becomes more and more prone to that, and therefore more ignorant as well. They will start thinking that all the misery and pain that they're thinking, all the abandonment that they're thinking, is because of everyone else. They will think more and more independently, yes, hence where the illusion of independence comes from. Yes, a sick society always knows that people will reach this level when they want to become so detached from everyone else because they are obsessed with the thought that everyone else is their problem. Yes, so they will think more and more individually, more and more individual based. Yes, when they go to the church to pray, they have suddenly this impression that the pastor, the preacher, only speaks to them and them alone. Everyone else is probably not even noticeable. Yes? Because the less people become, the more easy it is for them to suddenly feel a bit alive when something happens. They go to the church, suddenly someone speaks, the aura is somewhat different, finally they feel a bit alive. Yes? When someone becomes a threat to them because they are some wise person that wants to elevate them, to tell them of their wrongdoing, suddenly it feels like they are yet again alive, shattered a bit from the illusions that they've been investing their whole energies. Yes, the illusions that everyone else is the enemy, everyone else is the problem. One of these fuckers will cry that, look, they are the problem. Within each and everyone else's mind, alarms will spring, as if suddenly they have found a real threat. And they will all point their fingers at the wise person or the one who's different. And they will say that they are the problem. The problem. Why? Someone might ask then why? Why would that happen? It will only happen for one simple reason. Because they feel endangered, yes? Now they are obsessed, they are so obsessed, so invested with giving all their energy to their misery, yes? That everyone else who wants to pull them out of that is a threat, yes? They are going to be pulled out of their comfort zone of investing all their energy into their misery, yes? So everyone who even feels like they would do that, obviously they will be shunned away. They will even be killed. They will be sent out of that society. And then religion comes, yes, because misery is like a hive mind. Miserable people will always know unconsciously, yes, how to act to rule the masses to their own advantage. Yes, they don't read any book. They don't need to read books. They don't need to do any research. All of these are aspects of consciousness. The more you focus on them, the more you become represented by that. Yes? So now those people will have to guide people even more towards individualization. That is why religions have this tendency, or they will be reshaped in such a way that they will support this ignorance of people. Yes? Why do we have in all religions the same idiocy that creation itself one day will come and will solve all your problems? Yes? Invent possible solutions for the miserable ones, and they will wait. They will just wait their entire life. They will become, in time, they will become tired and sick of that religion because, in time, as generations go on, they will feel that that is less and less of a promise, more or less a lie. Yes, they will slowly and surely become true, knowledgeable of that lie. Yes, that creation will come and save them. But it is comfortable. Their parents have been doing that. Their forefathers have been doing that. So for many generations on, they will still keep believing. There will come a time when people will feel less and less interested in that religion. And in time, that religious belief may change. Another one may appear, or um invaders come. These people, many of them, will give up their belief for a new one. Yes. And, well, since ignorance functions in its own same ways always, well, the new belief, the new religion, will be shaped yet again into something similar. Wait for someone to save you, yes, and they will keep waiting. In time, let's say in our times, people become more and more disconnected from religion because of all these disappointments, because of all these waiting and waiting and praying to someone, but their problems are not solved. They are suffering, but no one comes to save them. Yes, this is the greatest or one of the greatest pieces of wisdom. No one is here to save you. Yes, not your politicians, not your Jesus, not your religion. Nobody will save you but you. Even your creation told you in your religion that you have free will, so they will not mingle with you. Yes? So if creation itself doesn't mingle with you, why wouldn't you? Yes? Because why would creation solve all your problems? By solving all your problems, it will disallow you from learning all the lessons. People won't learn all the lessons they have to learn in a single life. That is why there are millions of lives that they have to live. Yes? Sometimes they will live a human body, sometimes not. And as this misery, this ignorance develops, the quality of people becomes less and less as they dehumanize themselves more and more. And women with such low quality, They will no longer give birth to a piece of life that would be worthy of a human body. They will give birth to a physical body of such lower and lower quality by generation that other forms of life, much less forms of life, will enter. And that is why you will see so many people, it's like they they have some kind of demon, or it's like their soul is the soul of a zombie or something like that, because there are multiple such pieces of life everywhere. Some of them are just like a virus. Yes, their whole awareness is that of a virus, infect and adjust everything to own needs, to own cravings and desires, and that's it. No awareness, no empathy, no nothing. That is why when you look at so many people and you're an empathic person, it's like you don't see anything in there. It's like there's no soul in there. It's just like some wandering human body, like some kind of failed AI even. Yes? Because that is how life functions. If you invite a lower piece of life into a human body, it's like a level 1 player with all the skills unlocked, but they still cannot use them correctly. Yes? That is why so many people, many people are just a piece of life, which is way beyond the level of a human body. That is why you will see so many of those Zionists, reimagining themselves like animals. Yes, that is their comfort zone. Yes, their cannibalism is only because of them connecting to animals. Yes, imagining themselves as animals. And they seek those lower levels of existence because their level of awareness is that of animals, that of constantly being stuck in fear. Fear is that which unites them, which keeps them together, because everyone else they perceive as a threat. Yes, exactly what I've been telling you before. When people become too ignorant in a society, everyone else is the problem. This is how mad people function. You tell them that they're mad, they come and they make that horrified looks. It's like, no, you are the problem. Yes, yes, because that is the definition of a mad person. Whatever you tell them, no, it's you. You are the problem. You are the broken one. Yes? So, as these generations of people experience suffering more and more, it will become layered as wisdom for future generations. Even if future generations will not be able to bypass this misery, they will still carry it on. That is why sooner or later certain generations will start pushing back this misery. More and more children will become more gifted. Obviously, the first waves will suffer the most, but in time, those children will give birth to slightly higher quality of bodies. Those bodies being of a higher quality, they can finally invite higher quality of life forms, which will become wiser and wiser people in a society. That is why there is always this divine balance. Ignorance may become as much as 99% of the people, but obviously there will be still those who will be different. They will create secret societies, they will preserve wisdom beyond everything else, they will reignite faith once lost, they will be the seekers of wisdom, they will be those who will create everything and who will preserve the greatest teachings of humanity, because the teachings will never be lost. Yes, if lost knowledge exists, or we know that certain things were lost, spirituality and occultism can help us regain that knowledge. But one needs stability, one needs a lot of practice and patience. Yes, one needs a certain kind of body, because your physical body is what is going to show the limitations that you will have in spirituality. Those limitations can be obviously bypassed in time, but in the end, as things happen, one has to keep developing. And it's hard when you're surrounded by miserable people. So hopefully this video raised a bit of awareness. Yes. And well, these being said, take care, enjoy life. And these being said, Ferenjar Board signing out.